Happy he checks his calendar and his imaginary watch Wednesday? Welcome into the PHNX Rising Podcast.
Max, you
everyone.
always find a way to make me cringe before we even start.
It's kind of who I am, man. Let's call it what it is. You know, when you get to my age, you'll understand. Welcome into the PHNX Rising Podcast, everyone. Appreciate you joining us on this fine hump day. I am Mr. Max Simpson, and I'm joined by a man who, well, honestly, I kind of have to watch my shoulder because, you know, he might just try to beat me up or something. Mr. Owain Evans, how we doing?
Yeah.
That's all you got? Yeah. That's all you got. Oh, this is fair. Well, also, special shout out. We're also joined by another man in the room, Mr. Jacob Franklin, who just graduated today with his master's. How we doing, buddy?
Thrilled.
Can you show people the regalia you're wearing?
He feels cold, so he's...
No.
What?
Yeah.
This man is in full robe, and I'm trying to showcase people your glory, but, you know, anyway, that's okay. You know, speaking of people who... have gotten schooled. PHNX Rising beat Loudon United 3-1 this past Saturday. We're going to get into that one and a bunch of...
oh my God, we're really going for the greatest hits of Max's
We're kind of broken today, but we're going to get into a little recap of Saturday's match, as well as previewing and looking ahead upcoming match against Tampa Bay Rowdies. But, you know, speaking of Loudon's match, let's get right into that. Rising win 3-1 against Loudon United. You know, man, it was something where in the build-up to the match, especially coming after that, for lack of a better term, horrid performance against New Mexico United.
That was a game with two halves, to be fair.
I mean, actually, quite literally, it was very different.
Yeah.
But, you know, you want to see this team come out, perform on the attacking foot, and the first half hour... We didn't see that at all. We saw possession, which we've seen, which didn't lead to anything, which we've seen. And yet, almost seemingly out of nowhere, and the club actually posted the 7-pass sequence, if I'm recounting correctly, where you see the ball floated in from Fede Varela, headed across back from Manuel Arteaga to Jose Andres Hernandez to open the scoring. And it was something where that little bit of buildup that we've seen from Rising actually combining into the vertical ball from outside the box. I haven't really seen that wrinkle of, okay, we're actually going to be a bit more offensive on the front foot and leading to a goal. Most of the time, it's been either a mischance or that ball just doesn't come off. But it was something where that was a very encouraging pass sequence that has a little bit of what Rising wants to do with also what they need to do.
It was, but at the same time, I think, and maybe this is being overly negative, I think at the same time, you have to consider the fact that 9 times out of 10, that ball's not being played back in across.
That's fair.
Okay?
That's fair.
The cross itself isn't really finding anyone in a position that you'd normally want to find someone. It finds someone on the byline in a position that, in that case, because of the way they were all playing, yes, Jose Andres Hernandez gets himself into a good spot to get that ball that comes back in across and taps it in from point-blank range with no one in the way. But I think 9 times out of 10, that probably, if you're just looking at the initial cross, doesn't result in a goal. Now, they take a lot of energy from that, and they do actually create some better chances then shortly after. And that's important. That was the kind of spell that we needed to see from this team, feeding off the energy of that home crowd and just getting themselves into a position whereby they could add to the lead. And they did do that, ultimately. Manuel Arteaga with a very good finish. We've criticized him for his finishing. He came out and had a very good game, I think. He gets the 1 goal, he gets the 1 assist. You can't really complain with that after the criticism that we put in his way, really. Yeah. I mean, we were saying after the last game against New Mexico that he probably should have been dropped, really, for the game against Loudon. And he actually, he pushed on through all of that. I mean, Juan after the game saying, look, we try and lift players up rather than that's how we get there. Yes, we address these kind of things with form, but we're more looking to try and lift players up to get them out of those kind of places. So, look, I mean, it was a complete turnaround from him. I think he had a much better game than he had the previous couple of weeks, and I'm sure then as a result we'll probably still see him playing come the weekend.
Oh, certainly. I mean, to BJ's point, you know, he's saying that Arteaga made something out of nothing. I
Absolutely.
mean, really that cross. Where he heads it across to Jose Andres Hernandez. We're right there on the touchline, just out of frame, maybe slightly in frame of the broadcast, and we're watching it, and you see that ball looped in, and you're thinking, oh, that's surely out. And I mean, to his credit, he kind of reaches for it, gets something on it. I mean, I also think the goalie took a bit of an adventurous angle, but I mean, that's not trying to take away from the goal. It's something where he really did make something out of nothing, heads it back across, and then you got a game on our hands. I mean, he scores that second one. And the thing that I saw in his play that I think I touched on a bit in our post match is in the moments where he has to, I would say, think a lot or make a decision or run with the ball or something where, you have to do multiple steps. If a ball gets played in over the top, has to settle, or he has to dribble a man on. That's not as much where we've seen his strength lie. In the 2 goals he scored against San Diego Loyal and in other positions where he looks threatening. Again, he is a guy who he finishes within the box, and he is a one-touch, like, boom, let's shoot the ball kind of forward. That's where he excels, and that's where you saw it on that goal that he scored, the second one of the match, where it's just a one-touch, boom finish, curls it in from a nice angle, but it's like, he just gets set up and hammers it home. That's where his strength needs to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, the thing about being that big guy in the attack is that you need to be able to not just, I mean, and Juan said this in preseason, actually, when I was talking to him. I believe it was the game against Atlanta after that match where he was saying, look, when you've got a guy like Manu up there, you want him not just getting him. Look, when you've got a striker, it's not just what do they do when they're scoring. When they're scoring, obviously they're putting the ball in the back of the net. So what are they doing when they're not scoring? That's what we saw again. He's creating a chance out of nowhere. He ultimately gets on the score sheet himself. So yeah, I think that the pitchforks for Manuel Arteaga need to go away a little bit, just for a bit at least. You've got to give him a bit more time. Now he had the game. He stepped up back again. Yeah. Give him time to try and work into it. Give him time to try and get himself into form. Is Max buying beers? Yes, he is. I'm sure he will at some point. For someone will.
What?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. No, I mean, I think it's something that we've said is
you're buying beers. Yeah.
No, it's something that we said where he's always the type of striker where he's getting chances. It's not that he's not. Having shots created for him. It's the fact that, we've criticized him for his lack of form and his lack of scoring. But we've seen, there are those matches where if you get him in the right opportunity, sure, he's going to still miss some. But, Saturday was one of those where he ended up really coming through. But, we thought that second goal might have been the one that broke Pegasus's back, but turns out it was not to be. Oh, come on. That was a good one, no. Pegasus. Come on. That was a good one. That wasn't even my joke. That was in the chat earlier in the week. But anyway, we thought that second goal was going to be the decisive one, or at least one to really put the game out of the reach. And yet, Rising, man, they really love to either give away goals or opportunities, whether it's a yellow card, red card, whatever, in the last 15, I would say 5 to 10 minutes of the last 5 to 10 minutes of the first half, or the 5 to 10 minutes coming out of the second half. It's something where this team, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, that's really tough for them. And they let in this goal and give it an own goal to Kev Lambert. But I mean, seemingly out of nowhere, that was really Loudon's only opportunity of the game. And it was a half chance at best.
No, exactly. And it's one of those things whereby you've got to realistically do better. Set piece goals always frustrate coaches. They just always do. Because there's almost always something you could have done better to fix that. It's not like you're getting picked apart by a team here. On a set piece goal, someone's probably lost their man. Someone's probably not getting in the right positions they should be in. And at the end of the day, there wasn't enough pressure, I think, on the initial shot. Rocco Rios-Nova gets down. He does make the save, but with Kev Lambert also trying to chase that ball in there, it just takes a very awkward little deflection. Yeah. Comes off of Rocco, comes off of pretty much like the inside of Kev's leg and just bounces across the line. There's not much you can do there. I know people were asking before. They thought that Kev didn't touch it until after it crossed the line. No. He gives it the boot after it's crossed the line. So he's trying to keep it out, right? But it does come off of him. Rocco kind of parries it onto Kev, and then it bounces on in. So, yeah, I think we should actually just to address some of the things in the chat here quickly. I mean, I know that BJ's saying, can he perform on Saturday? Goalingman Pat here with it's nice to see him have a good game. And until it's proven to be more than a one-off, questions are still valid.
Certainly.
I don't disagree. However, I would say this. He did also have a good game at home against San Diego Loyal. He's inconsistent. He's been very inconsistent, I think, so far this season. So, yes, I think questions are valid, yes. But at the same time, I feel as though the pitchforks have to be put away a little bit there, just because, again, this is a guy who has just had a good game. You want to hopefully push him on to ultimately get into a good run of form. That's the thing. Strikers thrive on confidence normally. You've got to be confident to take those shots on, to actually, not overthink them. There are a lot of times you'll see forwards whereby they're at their best where, quite frankly, they don't have time to think. They just have to take the shot. You don't have time to overthink. And I think, look, you've just got to give him a bit of space now to give him the next couple of games, see how he does, see if he can try and get himself into a good run. And if he can, then Rising are in a decent enough place. Now, of course, yes, I get the questions, I get the concern, and I understand as well that some of that concern comes from the fact that in previous seasons, he hasn't always been the most consistent. And so what we're seeing now isn't necessarily a shock. He had a couple of good games last year, and a lot of games where he didn't really create very much. But you still got to give him a little bit of time. It's still early.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, and I get the fans' frustration, is it's the opportunities that he hasn't been finishing are ones where, not all goal or attempt is the same. Some are more difficult than others, but there's just been ones where, I mean, it's just a lack. It's sitters. It's a lack. Yeah. It's a lack of composure. And I think when he's able to get it, and especially we've seen in the situations where he thrives, are, like we're saying, the ones that are simple. So I would say, maybe not completely put away the pitchforks, but certainly, you don't have to raise them full extension of the arm. Bring it to hip side. Keep it close, tucked in. But no, on the real, hopefully you think this is one where it galvanizes him, brings some confidence, and I mean that's really the name of this game. Like a goal or performance like that. Again, 1 goal, 1 assist in that match against Loudon United. You really hope that not motivates a player, but it's like you can do it. Like you got put the ball in the back of the net, take that monkey off the back a little bit from you, and get it going.
I'm talking about confidence. Babacar Jai getting a goal.
Yeah,
and I know you defended him more than I know how good the goal was.
Oh,
Here's what I'll say.
I double down. It's a nice goal.
The finish is simple in the end. It is a simple finish because he's caught the keeper wrong-footed there. The keeper is completely off balance, leaning the wrong way, and he has pretty much the entire third of the goal to aim at.
The reason why
it's a simple finish. No, he creates it. He creates it by pressuring at the right moments, by getting in there, by winning the ball, and by going across goal in such a way that you will catch the guy off. But the finish, actually, and that's where I think our problem has been with Bowie in the past, is the finishing hasn't always been there. The finish, I thought, was quite simple in this case.
I think he made it simple because of the touch that he put. It wasn't just the pressure. The pressure was fantastic. If he does not take that step over and rolls the ball from his left foot to his right foot, he just shoots first time or does anything else to it, that defender is right there. That ball is getting intercepted. Or if he tries to shoot it, it's going square in the middle of the goal because goalie has good positioning. That step over move to switch it to the other foot is so expertly done. And that really does take, for a player who wants to redeem himself, who's probably going 1,000,000 miles an hour, to slow your mind down, to slow your body down and have that composure. Completely disagree. That is not a simple finish. He must have made it that way.
It's a simple finish.
He made it that way by bringing it from his left to his right and then off the right foot. Oh, certainly he created the space because of what he did, though. Not a simple finish overall. In the shot, maybe, but not overall.
That's my point. The actual finish, and again, that is the point I'm making here. His finishing has been what's let him down. Okay?
I mean, sure.
In the past.
Sure.
That has been here. But he has gotten into positions where he should be putting it on frame and he isn't putting it on frame. In this case, he wasn't able. No, he has. Seriously. Over the entirety of his Rising career, that has been a problem.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is the rollover from the left foot to the right foot is part of the finish. It may not be the shot, but that is part of the finish. Brandon is Bluebird. No one asked you. Max has no idea about good defense. He supports Spurs. We are not talking about this.
Someone said stoppage time. Did I hear stoppage time? Goals in stoppage time.
No. Let's
okay.
No. We're
But here's the thing. It's still great. It's great to get him that confidence, and actually the bounce back from a guy who was, I think, really down after that game in New Mexico. You saw what he posted on Instagram, right? He took a lot of responsibility for the fact that he got sent off in that position. And he ultimately, again, I think, look, it's good to, and there's actually another thing that BJ saying. The other point on the goal for Jai, he's always been frantic and too quick. He did well with the calmness.
Very composed.
No, I agree. I think the move as a whole, he does fantastically with it. I just think the finish itself is a little bit easy by the end.
We are literally, we're talking circles amongst each other. We're saying the same thing. I accept your agreeing of me. Thank you very much.
He's just picking fights for some reason.
I do want to fight.
But anyway, you know what? What are we talking? Should we talk a little bit about injuries?
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Of the squad, not the one I would inflict on you. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, let's. Yeah. Ooh. No, I'm kidding. But yes, Les, you were able to speak to Juan, hear a bit of update on how the squad is looking.
On Gabi Torres specifically, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, so let's have a listen actually to what Juan said about Gabi Torres' recovery.
We're talking about hopefully 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks until he starts our return to train, and then we'll see how fast we can get him ready to return to play. So I'll say probably 2 weeks. He'll be probably less than that. Already joined the squad in training.
I freaking love it. I mean,
that's good.
I mean, especially especially down that left-hand side. My gosh, like it's nothing. It's like you've missed him, especially the past couple weeks. I mean, he's bagged a couple of assists throughout the season. Just a guy who, he knows what to do in that position. Is he always going to deliver a man of the match performance? Not necessarily, but like he's a guy where you see him on that side opposite of Uzo on the other side. And like, dude, that's a lethal combo. You can't overload the defense to one side.
You see his link-up play with Danny Trejo as
certainly.
Well. The way that he plays Trejo in. And he's done it a couple of times already this season. 2 of Trejo's 3 goals coming off assists by Gabi Torres. Well, that's good news on his front. Emi Equajo, still in recovery at the moment, okay? I hesitate to speculate on when or where we'll see him involved going forward. What I do know is this is still waiting on a bit of swelling to go down. He's had to have some injections. Okay, so it's still a work in progress to get Quajo back into this squad, which is disappointing. We'd seen some positive signs from him as well. You ultimately want to see this Rising team healthy, and they haven't really been pretty much all season. That's a concern. But at the same time, what we're seeing is a team that is dealing with an injury crisis almost on a permanent basis, and yet is very hard to beat.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Certainly.
This team clearly has a reasonable amount of depth in it, broadly speaking.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they ultimately are very difficult to beat, which is a great thing come the end of the season.
Certainly.
How many times have we seen teams kind of get into the playoffs and just by being a team that's difficult to beat, find themselves progressing and progressing and progressing? Because that's the key thing here. You just need to not lose. And then at the very least, even if you're playing a very good team, you've got the great leveler at the end, which is kicks from the mark. Orange County did it. They won the cup.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, it's something where
like, you've got to be a team that can take the game to others. Yes, you want to be able to beat lesser teams. Yes, but the biggest thing is being able to know how to not lose.
Yeah, that's a very good point. No, it's
and especially when you're weakened like they are at the moment.
It's something where you certainly don't want to leave it to that. You are absolutely right, especially as it gets into crunch time. But I think that's the beauty is the cavalry for this team. It's coming. And the way this team performs, yes, it is like we are not excusing that they have had off games. They have had certainly some lapses.
Cavalry's coming. It's just later than a train at this point. Yeah. And it might get delayed again when there's another injury in the meantime, I'm sure.
Maybe there's more than one cavalry, but American history. But it's something where this team, it's consistently shifting the chemistry and having to work in pieces. And it's not just in one position, but like all across the board. And that's something where it's not excusing the lack of attacking prowess or just the inconsistencies from here to there. That is still something we say is a systemic team issue. But being able to even grind out results or, we've seen for a good stretch of games, improving week over week and in the offensive attack slowly but surely. But even like something like we said, the defense has had a pretty solid performance consistently throughout the season. And even with, different injuries to the back line, a little bit of shifting out in the wing backs positions, like that's impressive. That is not for naught.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to see the squad come together again. For those of you who didn't join, Rising, again, the 3-1 win against Loudon United. Really those first 2 goals, it was, some might say, buy one, get one offer. And that's exactly what we have with you for our friends at Circle K. Oh boy, it's that time of year. Text.
He's doing it again. He's doing it again.
Circle K, we've got quite the deal for you. We're teaming up with them, through our amazing partnership. If you'd go ahead and you text PHNX to 31310. You watching or listening, you're going to get a buy one, get one free. That's a BOGO. A buy one, get one free on 32-ounce Polar Pops. You know, it's hot as heck. I'm not just talking about Rising's form, that is. But you got to, get in on the Polar Pops. It's delicious. It's nice, cold, refreshing. Get whatever you want in there. Again, text PHNX to 31310 to get BOGO Polar Pops from our friends at Circle K. Do it now. It's going to look freaking amazing.
It sounded so aggressive when you said do it.
Do it. Just do it. No, I didn't finish. That's not copyright.
Do it if you're in Albuquerque, because there's nothing else to do there, right?
Dang.
There was a Circle K right by my hotel, and that was about it.
But here's the caveat. It's actually for our Arizona friends only. So those of you who are supporting Phoenix Rising locally, you get the benefit of that. So there you go. So Circle K.
Get them before you get to
Enjoy
Albuquerque, because actually don't go to Albuquerque. That's
Get
the
it in
easiest
ya.
one. That's the
My
easiest
gosh.
one.
All right. Let's
Just don't go to Albuquerque.
Well, I don't know how to transition out of that other than saying,
Thank God we've finally done it. We've broken Adman.
don't worry, I'll come up with one later. No, but we also want to shout out our friends, admin. Gosh, our friends at Four Peaks. I did see Albert earlier in the chat. Met him person at the NFL Draft Day Live watch party we did last week for the Cardinals. Some not me, some might say the real football. But yes, nice seeing him in person. Check out our friends at Four Peaks at their A Street Pub. They got all the good stuff going. Check them out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub on Instagram to keep up with Arizona's best hometown brewery. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy and drink Four Peaks. Please do so responsibly.
Yes.
All right. Well, speaking of I actually don't have a transition for that, but
He doesn't have any transitions anymore. We've really broken Adman here.
Don't you worry. I'll come back to it. No, but looking ahead to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it's a matchup where, we were kind of talking about it off air a bit before we started.
2 games, 2 loss.
Well, yeah, man, it's just a weird team this year. Like, you go into the season thinking Tampa Bay, okay, usually top of the table, force to be reckoned with. And, like, in some matches, dude, they're just, I don't know what to make of them, honestly.
Yeah, they're very, very messy. In some ways, I know a week or two ago, I was posing the question of, are they the Phoenix Rising of 2023? The big team that ultimately fail. That underperform, that are expected year by year to be a title contender, and instead find themselves glued towards the bottom. Now, at the moment, they are in the playoffs, of course, but that one, I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, anything is better than last year, right? For Phoenix Rising against Tampa Bay Rowdies. 5-1 humiliation at home. After Luis Manuel Sejas gets the lead for Rising 15 minutes in, you get Jake LaCava, Dayon Harris, Jake Araman, 2 own goals. Then you got Sivat Haugley and Ryan Flood. And then just to really rub salt in the wound, after that 5th goal goes in, a minute later, Joey Farrell picking up a 2nd yellow card.
Not ideal.
Rising were embarrassed at home in that game. It was a game that gave birth to the notorious Rick Shantz shrug. In the post game with the questioning of, do you think that the fans deserve better? And he gives the shrug. From there it felt like that was a very bad point, because look, you can justify losing to Tampa. The year before, Rising goes away to Tampa and loses 2-1. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Away from home.
Sure.
Tough game. They showed some fight in the second half, trying to get back in. Santi Moa putting the team on his back. Yeah. 5-1 loss, though, to Tampa Bay at home. You don't really get away with that, do you?
No, not really. And, it's going to be interesting this time around, especially given the form both teams are having. Rising, seemingly getting better each match, and then just a string of, I guess, tale of 2 halves, as we've kind of said, of, with San Antonio and New Mexico, just completely kind of weird performances with the red cards, or, a double yellow, red card, and then a straight red in those. Super weird how they play out, where, again, Tampa Bay, I just think neither team really riding super hot form, or at least not for a sustained period of time. I think it's really, this one's going to come down to, and it's like, color me shocked, but it's, whoever is going to really be the offensive threat first and take it to them. I mean, Tampa Bay, I don't think you can necessarily bank on the home field advantage. Rising has played their fair share on the road, bagging a win as well against Birmingham Legion. So we'll see, man. Like, I really think this match is kind of a toss-up in a way.
Yeah, you know what, though? Let's have a little look here, because Juan Guerra played alongside Neill Collins. They both played in Tampa Bay along with each other.
I can feel
and I did actually speak to Juan today about his relationship with Neill. So let's have a listen to that one.
I actually talked to him 2.5 weeks ago before they faced San Diego. So it's a good friend. It's a good friend of mine. We played together for 1.5 years, and then he started his coaching career 1.5 years earlier than I did, probably 2 years. But we've always been in touch. We've always been in touch, and it's someone that I respect a lot. It's, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in this league. And I know a lot of people are thinking that Tampa, this year they're struggling and they're not doing a good job. I think that the week that you think that, or the coach or team that approaches the week thinking that way, it's when Tampa is going to wake up. So we got to make sure that we approach this week with the right levels of responsibility and understanding who we're facing and where we're going, and also understanding that what I said earlier to you is there's an important month for us because of the games that we have and who we're facing, and we want to make sure that we start with the right foot.
I like that. He said start on the right foot. We play, the game with our feet. Anyway, no, but it's...
why are you doing this? Right, but no, Max, I'm pulling us back into
of course,
a semblance of sensibility here.
Please do.
Actually, something that just to add a little bit more context to that, actually, with Juan and Neill, is that Juan was a defensive midfielder. Neill was centre-back, so they were also pretty... they had to play pretty closely on that field.
Absolutely.
He actually described him back as a player as being a bit nuts. As a compliment, of course. You want that in a centre-back sometimes. You do want that in a centre-back. And we've actually seen that a bit from Neill as a coach as well. We saw it the first time that these two sides met, of course. They should have met in that 2020 final. We're definitely not still bitter about that.
Never.
Definitely not still bitter about the money that it cost to get out to Tampa and then there'd be no game. But...
yeah, we're definitely not bitter about that.
No, I'm definitely not.
Definitely not.
Never would. Nope.
No.
Wouldn't do so. Definitely would not. No.
We're very much
definitely
over,
not.
we're very
Definitely, absolutely not. But the first time these two sides met in 2021 did take place in St. Pete. And after that game, we saw, of course, that little bit of an altercation. Santi Moa and Neill Collins, and Neill doing the whole, like crying thing there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Neill's a bit of a hothead. He is.
Yeah.
Even now, even to this day, he is. I mean, the real thing here that's interesting is not knowing quite how they're going to set up, right? They've looked differently in their last couple of games. They've made some changes. And it sets up some really interesting possibilities, I guess, as to what you're going to face. You don't really know. I mean, are they going to play with 4 at the back, 5 at the back? We don't know.
Yeah.
We really don't know.
No, it's something, especially a team like that who has that variability. While it might make it difficult for them to kind of get a chemistry, it also kind of makes it difficult to really plan against. But Rising, I guess, an advantage or at least familiarity with, some of their squad, like we mentioned.
Yeah. So JJ Williams, that's someone that is, of course, a familiar face Phoenix Rising fans. There's also a guy called Cal Jennings on their team as well. A former Vegas guy who definitely caused some problems for Rising as well. But you know what? Let's have a listen, actually, because I did speak to Juan about JJ Williams, and then he mentions Cal Jennings in there as well. Let's have a listen.
JJ's a target striker. He's a big body. He's gonna keep our 3 center backs busy. He's gonna make sure that if they play direct, he's gonna be someone that can hold up the ball and create spaces in between the lines for the midfielders to attack. To be honest, is JJ, is Cal Jennings. They have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of weapons. I don't know what he's gonna utilize. If you would have asked me a month ago or last year or even the year before to prepare for this game, I would know exactly what Tampa was going to do and Neill's going to do. Neill switching last game to a back 4 versus Detroit has us a bit thinking if he's going to play a back 4 or a back 5. The reality is that at the end of the day, it's just a formation of how you set your players on the field. But the identity and the behaviors that he's adopted this year have been consistent from game 1 to the last game they played versus Detroit. So for us, it's just to see what shape he's going to adopt on the field and see who are the players that are in if Carl Jennings is playing is completely different than if JJ is playing. So he can do some different things on the top. So we'll see. It's gonna be a good battle, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, so JJ Williams, I mean, if he does play in that kind of target forward role, that's going to be an interesting one because you've got so much height in that Tampa Bay Rowdies team that I think it's going to be a bit of a handful for Rising, especially if they do look to kind of play those aerial balls and challenge them. I think Rising have got quite a few shorter guys on the team. That's just a challenge. It's hard to deal with on times.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were even looking today at the height of the back line, and it was you got a couple 6-footers in there. I believe, did we mention, what was it? Kev was probably the tallest back there at 6'4"? Something like that?
6'3", yeah, around about there, I think, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a game of inches here, not to use the cliche, but it's something where it kind of adds up. These are things where those small margins, especially when you're playing, some strikers who they got size, they got height. It's something that Rising hasn't really had to face in spades this season, and this could pose a different type of challenge for sure.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to what are they going to do? Are they going to play with the back 4, back 5? They're going to play with Carl Jennings. They're going to play with JJ Williams. Now, I will say this, JJ Williams, of course, a former Phoenix Rising player. We know what to expect out of him. Perhaps more so than some of the other players, especially in this system. You can actually, by the way, hear a little bit from JJ Williams. We did have him speak to us this week. And that will be on the pregame show for those of you who may or may not have tuned in the past. Of course, over on Arizona's Family Sports and Entertainment Network, Channel 44, 13 on Cox. We'll have a little bit from him, some other things as well. But yeah, you'll hear a bit from JJ Williams talking about the confidence in that squad after coming off of their win in Detroit on the weekend.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, no, again, 30 minutes before every kickoff, home and away. So yes, great plug there, Owen. Very excited for y'all to check out that interview. Again, only getting it from our friends at Arizona Family. But
I will say actually as well, one more player I think that we haven't mentioned but should do is Charlie Dennis. He was a menace up in Detroit. And look, he leads that team in chances created by quite a long way. I think if you can find a way to shut him down, you're going to go a long way towards finding a way to get a result out in Tampa.
Agreed. Dennis the Menace, some might say. Okay. Nothing for you. All right. Well.
All right. So you know what? I feel the need right now. So Max, tell us live on here. I want to say this now. I know that our friends in the chat, of which there will be some who will get it. Max, what's MSP mean to you? What does MSP mean to you?
Listen, we're trying to take shots on apparently my lack of Rising Twitter knowledge.
He doesn't understand the law here.
No, I can't say that I do. I've been around Rising and I've watched them over the years, but I'm newer to Rising Twitter. I will firmly admit that. Yeah.
So MSP, Mesa St. Pete.
Okay.
Don't ask me. Well, it came out. There's a group chat apparently goes around with fans from both teams. I don't know why.
Okay, that's
but that gets chucked out on Twitter all the time. MSP.
Okay, that's it's news to me. Thank you.
Actually, BJ's got a really good point here. Actually, about the height difference here. Don't give up set pieces. That's huge. That's a fantastic point. Not least because Rocco himself is not the tallest of people to come out and gather himself necessarily.
That's actually a pretty good analysis there. But yeah, I mean, even during set pieces, right? We've seen Rising has been vulnerable on set pieces. I mean, certainly yes, from opening play as well, but you see a lot of the goals were at the season opener. Even last match, that was technically off of a build up from set piece. It may not happen directly, but these things, it has to shift how a team plays, especially you bring the back line back, really messes things up, and especially when you're playing against some taller guys. Makes it kind of edgy.
It does. That causes you a lot of problems. You have to be able to clear your lines. That's something that I think on a couple of occasions they haven't. You've got to know how to clear your lines as well. Especially in moments like that. Yeah.
Most definitely. Well, like we said, we're going to see if Rising is able to get a result. Who did get a result, though? Last night, it was us at Valley Tap Room. Our friends at Valley.
You can talk at a normal volume.
Well, I know, but it's kind of like an ASMR. Anyway, we got a result last night, Ad Valley producer Jacob just scowling. We got a result.
Shaking his head. No ASMR there, no.
I mean, it's fine. He
Finish second in trivia there, though.
Valley Tap Room, we got a result, as well as some of our friends who came out. I say friends loosely because really it's a bunch of trolls in the chat, but we appreciate you guys coming out. We took second. And I got a couple clutch answers right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, to be fair,
mostly the ad-related ones.
Actually
we gave him the ad-related
one, and
he got him.
I came through on everyone.
He got him.
No big deal.
That's why they call him Adman.
Pat myself on the back. But yes,
Adman.
Check out our friends at Valley Tap Room on Instagram, at Valley Tap Room. They have trivia every Tuesday at 6:30. Apparently every other week it's a different theme. This coming Tuesday is 80s night. All kinds of fun stuff. The drinks were flowing. We enjoyed some nice beverages. If you guys are on the east side, certainly we have an event going on at BetMGM Sportsbook, our cornhole league, and our first Fridays. But if you are on the east side and you're unable to make it to that, check out Valley Tap Room for their Cinco de Mayo party. So check them out off the 202 in Gilbert. Appreciate our friends there for hooking us up. And, I think I see it from Pat, right? Referencing the famous 12 points or OGs. Well,
he's going to do a show on OGs.
Oh gosh, dear. I will say this. We had the running bit about Ramon doing a show on OGs. He never did it.
Which means that Max has to do it.
No, which means I also can follow the trend of promising and not doing it.
No, it doesn't. No.
Well, maybe if you're lucky, because our friends at OGs, all I'm going to say is, if you didn't catch the announcement, they have a new flavor coming out. It is, a pink lemonade, which is very tasty. It's incredibly tasty. They announced it in their dispatch the other day. Incredibly psyched for that. And, be on the lookout. Maybe going to do some little something with them. But check out more.
But you're going to do a show on OGs.
Perhaps. But we're going to check out our friends at OGs at OGEEZbrands.com. Again, that's OGEEZbrands.com. All right. Mr. Owen Evans, this result.
We haven't done score predictions, have we?
I was literally about to transition into that right now. All right, Mr. Owens, what's your
Max,
score?
I don't trust your transitions.
That's actually very fair.
What? I have to get out.
All right, hold on, Mr. Owen Evans, what is your score prediction?
2-2.
2-2. Okay, I'm going to go.
Going goals.
Would you mind, can you tell me the goal score?
You want me to tell you who the goal scorer is going to be?
I'm assuming 2-2 Rising.
I am going to refrain from doing so.
Oh, wait, did you?
I do not want to divulge any potential.
Did you just making sure I heard it? Did you say 2-2 or 2-0?
2-2.
2-2. Okay, gotcha. Just making sure.
Each side's going to score 2.
I'm going 1-0.
I will actually. I'll give you the Tampa goal scorers. I think that both Williams and Jennings will score.
Okay, give me Rising and. Ooh, this is a toughie. Give me. Ooh, I'm feeling spicy. I'm feeling Rising going to score off a corner of their own. Give me Fuenmayor. I don't know why. And I gotta check.
Alex Fuenmayor.
I gotta check BetMGM at some point because that got to be a couple ducats or something like that. But let me chat. Please feel free to chuck out your score predictions.
To be clear here, BJ, he's going to do one while enjoying the OGs himself.
Well, apparently Pat thinks that I've done all of them on OGs.
It's just a running.
It's actually kind of a fair shout. But yeah, chat, please chuck us your score predictions as well. We're seeing 3-2, a high scoring affair from our friend Mr. Thomas. I like that. Anyone else feeling frisky?
Trejo with a double and Kev off a set piece, he adds.
Oh, I like that. Well, we'll keep on having the score predictions come in, but really, it gives us a chance to take a look at around the USL and take a look at some of the key matches from this past weekend. One that kind of sticks out to me that we were talking about.
Just read through the scores first, and then we can pull back. Let's go through them.
You do it best. Hit it off.
Let's look at those USL Championship scores. Detroit City 0, Tampa Bay Rowdies 1, FC Tulsa 1, Sacramento Republic 1 as Bruce Arena.
I am so sorry. We just have the Bruce Arena joining.
Arena.
No, it is Bruce Arena.
It says Bruce.
Bruce Arena.
His name says Bruce, Max. I can read.
Well, wow.
In the chat, yeah.
US royalty. Here we go.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course.
Whoever is creating these accounts.
That is the real one.
So
What do you mean creating?
US coaches just
Bruce Arena created the
in
account.
there. Yeah, I'm sure he did, yeah. Back to the scores. Indy 11 1. Pittsburgh Riverhounds 1. Charleston Battery 1. Colorado Springs Switchbacks 2. Memphis 901 1. Louisville City 1. San Antonio FC 1. Las Vegas Lights 1. New Mexico United 3. Orange County 1. Monterey Bay 0. RGV 0. Oakland Roots 0. Miami FC 0. San Diego Loyal 1. El Paso Locomotive 2. Birmingham Legion 3. Hartford Athletic 2. And the score from tonight, which happened just before we came on air, Miami FC 3. Birmingham Legion 1.
Yeah, it's Birmingham Legion is officially weird.
Very weird.
I don't get what to make of them. Out of all of those results, I mean,
they've got the consistency of a very weird lumpy bowl of porridge. Very inconsistent.
Of course, who cannot relate to that? I mean, a lot of interesting scores. I mean, Memphis 901, we know that they're having a really down season, but on paper, Memphis versus Louisville would be I would say like a super textbook, the class of the East in normal years type of
last
matchup.
year especially, yes.
I was going to say 1-1. San Antonio, Las Vegas Lights. That to me is like, that's a surprising one.
Yeah.
A very surprising one.
Yeah. And also, can we shout out a minute, though, Bruce Arena in there who feels the need to clarify that he is not Saul, our GM.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of random.
Cool.
But,
Yeah.
maybe that is Saul. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless he's talking about another Saul, but I would say probably not.
Yeah. But I feel as though, look, the result from tonight, I think you're right, just shows how bizarre Birmingham Legion are having as a season this year. I think El Paso getting a win in San Diego is huge for them. Shows again that San Diego are beatable at Torero. Charleston Battery falling to Colorado Springs. Kind of makes us reevaluate Colorado Springs a lot. We went into this season with a lot of doubts about them. We weren't really sure what to make. But I tell you what, if you want to talk about impactful games this weekend, because of what happened since, the most impactful game very clearly here, New Mexico United 3, Orange County 1. Greg Hayes got a brace in that one. And on the other side, Orange County with the first managerial casualty of the season. Richard Chaplow ultimately let go by Orange County after that game. So Chaplow out at Orange County. We did actually get the chance to hear a little bit from Juan about his thoughts on that move from OC. Let's have a quick listen to what he said.
It was sad. It was sad. It's something that, as coaches, you never want to see. When I was a player, I hated it too, because it's some things that when you're a player, sometimes you feel a bit responsible when those decisions are made. And now being on the coaching side, it's a bit sad, because I know how much effort, how much work, and how much sacrifice coaches put in every day. And Richard also is a good friend of mine. I've spent a lot of time with Richard in the past probably 4 years since I've been coaching. We did 2 coaching licenses together. And I know who he is as a coach and also as a person. And then also it's the reality of the business that we're in. Richard won it, and now things, the results were not as positives of what they wanted on the field, and they decided to make a change. So this is someone that this is something that when we decided to do this and accept this role and do this as a profession, we're willing to live with it as well.
I did see your reaction to this on Twitter, and it brings up a good point, the timing of it.
Yeah, and Goalie Pat here with the same comment. There seems a bit early in the season to make a move. Must have been on a very short leash to start. I agree. Certainly. Here's the thing, right? To me, if you're going to make the move this early, given where they are in the table, how close they are, you better have been you better have been awful. I expect that if you're going to get sacked after 8 games, you've lost all 8. If you give that guy an off season, why give him an off season if you can have him on that short a leash? Why? Why waste an off season with him there? You might as well give him a little bit longer. I mean, come on, they're 2 points back off playoffs? They're 2 points back off the playoffs, aren't they?
They sure are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you sacking him now? You're 8 games in. Come on.
Yeah.
Why give him the off season? What is the point? What is the point in giving him the off season? Last year was an absolute disaster for them. Sack him then.
I don't disagree. I mean, it's, I agree. It's incredibly weird timing. Playing devil's advocate. They have the worst goal differential in the West. Actually, the entire league. Actually, the worst goal differential in the entire league. Have played the full 8 games, so it's not like they have a game in hand to make up for it. But I do agree. It's incredibly weird timing, and it sends a message as an organization. I personally think of, you're not going to do this in the offseason. You're only going to ride with it after these 8 matches. It's a tough look, certainly, for a team that really in the last handful of years, we've seen them kind of have a fall from grace.
Certainly. I mean, you look at them, they've lost 4 games, right? So they lost to New Mexico. Mm-hmm. They lost to Birmingham Legion at home, which Legion are having a very weird year, but they're still doing well in their conference. They're still doing well. They lost to El Paso, who have had a resurgence lately. And who else did they lose to here? They lost to ALLCITY. Oh, man. Wow.
You seem amused.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. These are the games that get you sacked in this league now? You lose to ALLCITY, El Paso, Birmingham Legion, and New Mexico in there. Yeah,
it's unforgiving for sure. And, New Mexico...
I just find that bizarre. It's so early, and the losses are against, broadly speaking, some of the tougher teams you're going to play.
Yeah.
Now, they were at home, a lot of those, to be fair. I'll accept that. But they drew against the Rowdies. They drew against Lights. Drew against Hartford. They won against Indy 11.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
very short leash. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why you invite him back and then sack him after that.
It's certainly a toughie for sure. And New Mexico United really just playing a big bully in back-to-back games, kicking, rising out of the U.S. Open Cup. And then this with Orange County, really we see...
Greg's finding his form. Greg's finding his form. And I think that, look, Rising fans, I'm sure, are happy to see Greg find his form. They're just not happy to see New Mexico win.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it. Well, keep looking at where Rising is in the table. They sit in 7th on 10 points, 7 matches played. I guess an encouraging thing above is while they are in 7th, all 6 teams above them have played 8 games. So Rising does have a match
and can be level on points with 4th place.
Certainly.
With a win in that game in hand.
Absolutely. Granted, they are at a 0 goal differential. So unless we see an absolute blowout, they, a win would have them jump up a spot. They would be level on points with 4th, would sit in 6th place, where they would leapfrog Monterey Bay. But hey,
remember, of course, though, that the tiebreakers aren't goal difference. It's not goal difference first.
This is fair.
It's actually just checking because they make these up every year. So first is head to head, regular season. Then it's goal difference head to head.
That's fair.
Then it's points per game versus in conference opponents.
Wow, that's
then it's wins. Then it's goal difference.
Huh.
USL makes this up every season. They keep changing it. None of them really are consistent with everyone else does. I get head to head first, but I find
that's fair. At least when I check FODMOB, which is where I do get the old table standings and everything like that, it would probably tell me otherwise. I'd say phooey with that. But this is a fair point. It's good. That is very good to know that. But it is a tiebreaker nonetheless.
Down the line. Number 5. Number 5.
Oh boy, that is crazy. Well. Speaking of crazy, we got a match to really prepare for and take in on Saturday. A kickoff 4:30.
Early doors.
Early, yeah, seriously. 4:30 on Saturday. Again, appreciate you guys joining us for this. We are not going to have a Thursday show. The next time you will see us, well, first it's going to be on the pregame, of course, which kicks off at 4 p.m. again with our friends at AZ Family, and then you'll catch us during post game after the match ends. Find Owain in Tampa Bay, and of course me in the dungeon.
Yeah, anyone here who wants to toss in some suggestions for St. Pete, I will of course always listen.
Ooh, there we go.
Well, I've got time to kill over there.
Yeah, we do. Well, I say we as in you. On that note, appreciate you guys joining us. Good luck to Rising on Saturday. You can follow the show at PHNX _ Rising because double the fun. By the way, no one noticed that this is the first time in PHNX Rising Podcast history that
Since they became a partner, yeah.
Well, that's fair. Like, there's no beer.
We've not had Four Peaks.
And this is not because Four Peaks has deprived us. I just want to throw that out. We're just, it's been a...
Not a day for it.
It's been a day. It's been a day in a good way, but it's all good. Appreciate you guys joining us again. Follow PHNX underscore Rising on Twitter. Follow me at Max David Simpson. Follow Owen at OJ Evans 18. Follow producer Jacob at Jacob underscore Franklin 4. Cool.
Oh, yeah! He got there.
Let's go. Hell yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you guys.
Shout out Devin as well, just hopping in to remind us. Adman over here.
All right. Well, no, I'm going to say sayonara. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll catch you Saturday. But until then, see ya.